So first off, I would just want to thank all of you that are on. I greatly appreciate you plugging into our classes. And before we get started, I would love to interview or introduce our co-hosts, Justin Westlow and Mary Jo Kormashoff. Justin, can you tell us a little bit who you are, how long you've been in real estate, or whatever you want to say about yourself?
Sure. I started in real estate in 2003, and I spent some time in leadership with a different market center on the west side, out in Rocky River for a few years. And 8 years ago, I came back to partner with my mom and my business partner, Diane, who started our team, well, let's just say 40 plus years ago. So we have been working together for the last 8 years. We operate out of the Brecksville Business Center in downtown Brecksville. And we're a small team. We've got I work both with my mother and my husband, and we have a handful of agents that work with us as well. Our business is 99.9% sphere-based, referral-based. We do not pay for leads. We do not pay really for much marketing at all. Not to say that there's anything bad with paying for leads and marketing. It's just not our business model. So that's us.
Absolutely. And Justin, real quick before I move on to Mary Jo, as you're introducing yourself, how would you let people know that social media or an online presence has grown your business?
I would say because we do not invest a lot of money, a lot of dollars into traditional forms of marketing. So, we don't pay for ads, we don't pay for Zillow leads, things like that. Social media has been a very low cost, high impact way to continue to communicate with our sphere of influence that already knows us, loves us. Well, maybe not loves, but likes us. So it's a low cost, high impact way to stay out in front of people, but also let people know that we are more than just realtors. And I think that is a problem for some agents out there, is that everything they do publicly has to do with a house or a sale, or which is great. I mean, we should definitely pat ourselves in the back for our successes. There's no doubt about that. But I think people really want to see the real side of the person they're working with as well. And social media has allowed us to blend the professional and the personal together to make us real people.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Miss Mary Jo Kormashoff, tell us a little bit about who you are and also how social media has impacted your business.
So I've been licensed since 2010. So I've been licensed 13 years. I'm a mom. I have 4 kids, and I live in West Akron, kind of the Akronish area. So for social media, I had a personal Instagram. I didn't have a business Instagram until 2019. And I had a senior from one of the local high schools shadow me, and she told me that no one was on Facebook anymore and that I needed to get an Instagram for my business. So that's when I started really kind of plugging into Instagram. I work my business page. I share a lot in my stories, like about my family and things we're doing. But then through the feed, it's more maybe, just sold and things like that. But we also try and really plug into being local experts and sharing a lot about what's going on locally, businesses we like, and things like that. So people feel like they're connected to us and the community, and they can rely on us for not only, finding a house, but knowing where to take their kids to go find like the best pumpkin patch kind of thing. So we kind of leaned into that. And we've seen it grow. And I think it's not necessarily that our business only comes from that, because it definitely does not. It's mainly, again, we don't buy leads as well. It's 99% sphere referral, past clients. But it's like another layer of the business. It makes you relatable. So if someone's recommending you, they can go and bop on and see you. I just had someone hire me last week, and she said, we had 4 kids, you had 4 kids, we felt connected on that, so you never know. Maybe, it's your dog, or you like the same restaurants they like, kind of thing. You don't know what they're going to connect you on. So it's just kind of another layer in the cake, I guess you'd say, of business.
Yes. And speaking of her 4 kids, like Mary Jo, you could also host a class on she is the best at mom of 4 and real estate mogul. You do it all.
I'm very tired. We're actually renovating half our house right now, so I'm literally in the basement trying to figure out how to blur the screen. I was like, I don't even know how to. This is where I am in the basement. So if you hear anything weird, no one's dying upstairs. It's just the kitchen reno.
It's a
Anyway,
good thing this class is not building your business through Zoom accounts because you can't blur and I can't share my screen.
yeah.
So as we get started, I first wanted to share a video with everyone on the call. If you were I actually stole this from the last Glover U down in Orlando. It blew my mind just the way I don't even want to give the meat of the video away yet, but it shows it's the most popular websites from 1993 through like January. And it's pretty incredible to see the shift that our world has done. And we need to pay close attention to things like this because real estate follows that. Like as websites are changing, our clients are changing how they find out information. So I am going to share this quick video with you all. Okay, sorry. So we got to the end of it, but it absolutely blows my mind. Like, one, I forgot that Yahoo was ever in front of Google as a search engine. And then if you notice, so this was actually, it was January 22 of where that ended. All of the top ones, it's Google and then social media. And mark my words, I give it like 2 more years before YouTube might be just as big, if not bigger than Google. It seems like that's where people go for their questions, for their how-tos, if they're going on vacation rather than looking something up on Google, they'll go to YouTube, like best spots to go in Orlando, etc. Yes. So anything you guys wanted to share on that before I move on?
I forgot about Ask Jeeves. Remember that search engine?
Oh
An oldie but a goodie. I'm gonna
certainly was. That is so funny. And you know what else was really cool? I noticed right at 2020, like probably around the pandemic, is when you see
Hmm.
YouTube like really climb, and it
Hmm.
grew quite a bit. So it's just kind of fascinating. And I think it's a fun little video to watch. But in addition, just reminding us like we always need to be open to change and how we're doing things, etc. And side note, I'm not paying huge attention to the chat. So Bethany, if you see anything I need to see, let me know. But moving on to this hierarchy of effective real estate content, I'm telling you, like I could almost host the whole class, I think, on this triangle. Uh, what Justin, you might have said it in the beginning, how um, you can have your sold sign and that's awesome, but what are ways that people are connecting? And basically right now, this is as of September 2023, this is what's working in the real estate social media world. At the bottom of that triangle is quotes and graphics. And by all means, like I love a good quote. Like I love posting quotes. I will never stop posting quotes. I love it. It's just, are you going to be getting business from those quotes?
Hmm.
Next is listing photos. Great, but that kind of is like the same as the sold sign. How are you being different? Next up is lip sync reels and house tour reels. I do think the house tour reels people like if it's quick, not, they don't want to watch something for like 5 minutes long. Talking head videos, we're going to get into this, but I had to ask Mary Jo because she's really good at these. I had to Google, I was picturing talking head videos as like that bobblehead on TikTok, It's like, wow, I can't believe those are so far up in the pyramid. And then, of course, at the very top is original videos stemming from your expertise. And what's funny is a personal story I would share here is a few years ago, probably. I'll never forget. It was the beginning of the year, and I was trying to set a word of the year. And I was listening to a Brene Brown book while I was taking a walk. And something just spoke to me so much. It was about belonging and etc. And I almost like it would be very easy to post a Brene Brown quote on my story or on my page or what have you. And I don't know what compelled me to do this, but like I stopped in the middle of my walk. I didn't go live because that makes me nervous, but I recorded a video just of like what I heard from this book, what it meant to me. It was pretty raw and vulnerable. And shared it. And I ended up, it was nothing to even do with real estate, but it was my words of how I perceived this book and how it was helping me. And I was strictly in sales at the time. And I am not kidding you. I had two people that I knew from a past career. Their children reached out to me to buy a house. Like I think I ended up getting 3 clients from this one video. And it is, if you look at this triangle, it's quotes and graphics, which are great. We need them, like keep doing them, but it's not what's necessarily going to bring business. So, and then when you use your own words, your own expertise, I think people connect to you. So diving into these top 2 tiers here, Mary Jo, let's talk about the talking head or green screen videos, as you will. So what has got, like, even just let me know, how'd you get started on them? What prompted you? What's gotten you the best response when you do these videos?
So I had been posting local business spotlights. We were just doing like a picture of a restaurant I went to, a sandwich shop, a coffee shop. I'd probably been posting those since I started my Instagram. And I felt like I wanted to take it to like dive a little deeper. I didn't, I knew that video was like where I should be, and it made me really uncomfortable getting on video. I mean, it still does. But I kind of am like of the mindset, like just rip the band-aid. Hopefully no one's going back to like my first ones in 2020. Please don't go back at least and watch the video of me feeling incredibly uncomfortable. But I saw someone else on Instagram. I probably spend way too much time on my phone first, but I saw someone else on Instagram had their body in front of something else behind them. And I was like, okay, I think that would be a great idea to do it and then spotlight local things that are happening for the weekend. I mean, we live in Northeastern Ohio. I mean, a lot of times people think like there's nothing going on. It's pretty boring, right? If you're moving here or even if you're local. And I was always looking at things to do with my kids, or just even with my husband to go out. So I started just posting things that were happening. I started in January, so it was like horrible content of what was happening. But I started like just posting 3 a week. I say the same thing every week. But I started posting it every week as a reel. Um, so there's no music to it, and reels, I don't know how familiar people are with social media, but if a reel has certain music that's trending, you're gonna get more views. So there's no music to it. But they average probably like I would say 200, and then the most people I've gotten to watch is like 1,200 on a reel. Um, and I would sometimes feel bad to like, oh, 200. Like I posted one the other day, like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if the algorithm hated me that day, but I only got like 150 views. And I just got my hair done, so I was like really disappointed. I was like, damn, I wasted a good hair day. But someone said to me once, they said, if you were sitting in a room full of 100 people, you'd be elated. If I hosted a buyer seminar and 100 people showed up, I would be speechless. I wouldn't know what to do. You know what I mean? That'd be amazing. Um, so with that mindset, so you think like, I don't have to go viral. I just need, I just need to get in front of a few people. Um, but since I have posted the reels, are especially the hometown happenings, that's what I call them. We have seen an increase of definitely people on Instagram. I think we have almost 2,500 followers on Instagram. I've been reshared from other local accounts. There's a girl named Akron Mom and Kids. She's reshared me. The mayor of Akron has reshared me. And I know that might not sound like a big deal, but like it's just a way of kind of being like, okay, honing in on I'm the local expert. You know what I mean? I'm not only going to help you sell your house, I'm going to tell you where you should go on a hike, where you should go to dinner. We also host a giveaway every year of local places too. So it's kind of like a layering of that. But the talking heads is just, I don't know if anyone's ever done a reel. It's one of the I don't even know. I'm like really like tapering out as far as technology goes. I'm gonna be 40 this year, and I feel like my knowledge of like the things I filter. Okay, it's a filter. Okay, that's what it is. But anyways, it's one of the filter options on Instagram. And you could put yourself, I mean, there's one agent locally, actually Tim Toberjo, and he does history of different locations. And I told him it'd be really cool if you did a green screen and talked about what was behind you. I think I have to explain to him a little more, but you could do it in a house. I've seen other agents do it, like doing a tour of random Zillow houses. Um, Again, we do it for local things, but you can do it for anything. It's kind of fun. The ones that have gotten the most traction, I mean, I think for Mother's Day, I had my kids do it. And that one did get a lot of traction. People, I mean, I don't know if that's creepy. Maybe it's creepy that my kids ones gets the most. But I think people just kept resharing it. They were like, oh, this is so cute. And, again, too, it's just another layer of who are you? Like, I think it needs to say, like, who are you? Like, so I'd like to think that when people watch the Talking Head videos, they know that I'm someone who really, one, cares and supports the community and is gonna know what to record, or I'm sorry, what to go do. And people will say, like, where do you find these things to go do? And it's literally you just go on Facebook and you go to this, it says events and this week, and it will tell you where things are locally. It's like, it literally is like the biggest no-brainer to find these. It's not like I'm hunting them down. It literally takes like 2 seconds. And then those places, we also then like, link to the video and things like that. So you can get reshared by the local establishments that are hosting whatever events. But it's a great way to connect with the community. I've met a lot of people through it. People will reach out to me and say, hey, will you please include our event this weekend? I was at my
That's
son's.
huge. When they're
Yeah,
reaching out to you to say, hey, will you add this? You know, people are paying attention.
yeah. Yeah, the weirdest one was I was at my son's school helping at field day, and a little girl came up to me and said, "Hey, we watch you on my mom's phone." And I was like, "What?" Like it was so weird to me. But I thought, okay, that's awesome. You know, your mom's a follower. um, but like it was just cool to realize like, oh, I guess like people actually watch this for content. I've had other people message me and say like, oh, we ended up going to see the vintage baseball at Stan Hewitt this weekend because we saw your post. So it's not like they're saying like, oh, like I'm gonna buy my next home with you. But again, it's a layer in the you're local, you're the person that knows the things, and you sell real estate. And you I mean, people love supporting the community. Like that's like a huge thing. So yeah, I think I probably
Something,
talked too long.
oh, it's okay. And oh, Danielle, go ahead.
I just
What
have a
did you
quick
have
question.
Yeah.
So when you're, I know like it's easier like to post to Instagram and like use their like, see now I feel like I can't do social media either. Like their little thing is so you can like make your video. Are you
Mhm.
making one for Instagram and you're making one for Facebook, or you're just
Oh, so here's another thing. You have to repost it in Facebook, and we're not as good as do it of reposting it on the in Facebook. I personally, and this again is probably just me, I think Facebook connects differently than Instagram. If I'm on Facebook, it's on my personal page and I'm connecting to baby boomers. If I'm on Instagram, I'm connecting with millennials. So I don't really, my business page on Facebook is kind of like a wash. On Facebook, I am focusing on connecting with people on a personal level and then reminding them lightly I'm a realtor. On Instagram, on my real estate Instagram page, it is a little mix of everything. Um, and then we do repost the video. The Hometown Happenings video is sent out through BombBomb, which is a program I pay for. I don't know if other people pay for it. You can send videos via email. I pay for that and that goes out. And then we are not 100% great at this. We do try and get it up on YouTube as well.
That's awesome. Good question, Danielle. One thing I did want to just remind people of, something I heard you say is you say the same thing every week. And I literally, I think that's where you become the person that people are going to, because I can hear it like, here's 3 things you need to know this weekend or whatever it is. I have literally went to your page before. Like, I need something to do with my kids.
You're a follower, Jill. I love it.
I am. So people remember that. And I think by saying the same thing, that helps memory.
I mean, honestly, that the same thing became almost just a comfort to me because like sometimes I don't there have been times like in the summer I do get busy where I just don't do the video, but like knowing I'm not recreating the wheel. I'm just saying the same thing, putting in the 3 features and being done. It's like maybe 40 seconds tops. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't have to work myself up over it. What am I going to say this week? No, you're just saying the same thing you said last week, but telling about a new feature or some, new activity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing. And Justin, let's hit on this top tier of the triangle, original videos stemming from your expertise. So if none of you know, Justin is like the star of American Dream. I feel like people have done it. You have done it at a whole other level. You're fantastic. You have a presence. So I want to pick your brain on that. How has being a part of that shaped your business? And also, how do you choose like the businesses and homes you showcase and come up with the content?
So I don't love myself on camera or on screen. So Mary Jo, I just added you on Instagram. So I need you to accept that so I can see what you're talking about. Because it sounds fascinating, but I don't feel that people really want to hear me talk, but maybe they do.
Yes.
So this has been first and foremost, it gave me marketing access, and it gave me access to marketing content that otherwise would be unaffordable. So being a part of this TV network allowed me to really step up our marketing presence, the way we appear, what our graphics look like, what our imaging looks like, things like that. But we tend to drive all of our television spots to client events as well, because we're very like grassroots oriented. So, well, to answer your first question, I'm able to go to any part of the community in Northeast Ohio. So basically Canton North, and then from, probably Sandusky all the way to, the Ohio border on the east. So, because I naturally am not a comfortable person on camera, I have chosen people to be in our show that make me comfortable. So people that I can have a natural conversation with. It is outside of my comfort zone to take a selfie stick and walk in front of my new listing and talk about how beautiful it is. That's just not who I am. I can do it in front of a room of 500 people. I'm just not that kind of a person online. So it has forced me to become a more video-centric realtor, but also I realized what makes me comfortable and what makes me succeed in a video, and it's being comfortable about my content. So usually the whole purpose is to highlight a community, highlight a business or two, and then have the house kind of be the end cap. The focus is not supposed to be on the house itself. And I think that's, to Mary Jo's point too, like a lot of her content has nothing to do with real estate other than the fact that she is a realtor in the community. And everybody loves house hunters, everybody loves love it or list it, but it's not really how we operate as professionals, right? So so we are not a real estate show, we are a lifestyle program. So first and foremost, finding content, finding topics and locations that I'm comfortable with and that I can speak, I can be educated about. And then from there, I also kind of take the ego out of it. I think a lot of times realtors make everything about them and also about their business and about like they're a silo in this world, right? So the reality is none of us succeed alone. We have to cooperate with other agents. And what a better way to maybe get a favor in the future if you're in a multiple offer, or if you need, an extension on something, why not feature another agent's property? You don't have to highlight their company. You don't have to highlight their success or their number of homes sold or the units sold. I have a really good friend who is she owns like Gordon Square, Ohio City. She's lived there for 35 years. She lived there when nobody wanted to live there. And now she is making a lot of money because everybody wants to live there. So one of my episodes focused on the East Bank of the Flats. Bobby Rutter and his Forward Hospitality Group, a lot of his restaurants and nightlife establishments down there. So I wanted to highlight living in the flats. And I don't currently have any listings in the warehouse district. Not a surprise. Don't do a lot of business down there. So I actually called her and we were able to feature a penthouse of hers in Stonebridge and a loft of hers in the on the West Bank of the Flats. And I just simply introduced her as my dear friend and colleague. It was very simple. She didn't get on camera and talk about how they should call 216-524, whatever, and call her. She didn't talk about her brokerage. All she did was talk about the house. Well, that's great because it's not my listing. And I don't know that much about the West Bank of the Flats. I don't know that much about, Ohio City. So why pretend to be an expert when you can leverage other people? So for me, it's a lot about collaboration, being comfortable with the content that I'm doing. Not that we shouldn't go outside of our comfort zone, but if we're going to be on screen and if you're going to make an investment, either time or money, get the most out of it and make sure that you're comfortable with about what you're talking about. So
100%. And that is such good advice, Justin. Like everybody who's on, if you feel like, well, I don't have fancy listings to go through, or I don't have a listing to go through, or any buyers, you don't have to. Like you're in Elevate has 300 agents, Living has 150 agents, Legacy has, I'm not sure, 250, whatever. There is, of those that are on this call, if you combined Jose's 3 brokerages, that there is probably 900 people you could call, listings. So you don't have to have necessarily the business yourself. I love that piece. And something, as you guys are talking, something that like a light bulb, you're both very, you do hyper local at a high level, both of you, like Mary Jo, you are West Akron. Justin, the Westlows are Brecksville. And like you guys really double down on your areas. And I think anybody would know your name in that area. So that's another thing I would encourage, like as we're moving on, and those that are watching this.
I would just say too, sorry to jump in, but like, especially as the market shifts, like lock in a territory, because there's been signs that have gone up over the past 3 years, and I'm like, why didn't I get a call? Oh, that's because everyone and their mother is a licensed realtor right now, So like, decide where you want to become the local expert and lock in on it, because things are going to shift. And Sally Smith, who's selling 3 houses a year, is gone, and then hopefully you can take that territory. So like, now is the time to like be really intentional of locking in an area, because people are, I mean, I can't imagine aren't many more, people are going to be leaving the business.
Mhm. Without a doubt. That's great advice. So to dive a little deeper on this, some of these notes I actually have just taken from social media classes I've had this past year. And they talked so much about this. Danielle, this could be a Gregor Langer, but just what is your brand? And he said it has to be honest, unique, solve problems, flexible, and match your people. A question to ask yourself, can you sell it? And are you yourself excited about it? So question for either one of you, both of you, in what ways have you made your brand unique, solved problems? Who would like to go first?
I can kick this one off.
Okay.
I think for better or for worse, we're the realtors that people know that are going to answer the phone after the transaction. I'm going through a situation right now, and I will keep my opinions to myself. However, I think it's very easy to hand somebody over a set of keys, and then in 2 months, when you find out their dishwasher is broken and they ask for they want help, just sending them a screenshot of the warranty application or what, and then we don't talk to them again. Our brand is that we are the one-stop shop. So Diane and I were in the office yesterday. We are putting together our annual client event, client holiday party, which we are hosting down at Lakeside Yacht Club on November 10th, inviting probably 350, 400 people. Diane was going through her list. She mentioned a house that we had sold a few years ago. And she goes, I message them. I keep in touch with them. I send them stuff. I never hear back from them. Literally 15 minutes later, that client walked through the front door because she had gotten a letter about unclaimed funds with the state of Ohio. And we sat there and spent an hour, and we found the funds online, and we filled out the form. And then she goes, oh my gosh, we'll absolutely be at your event. So it's, if they don't, it's just about staying on top of people and just always being there. They may not reply, but maybe on the sixth time sixth invitation, they'll reach out, or if they need something, at least they know they can come to you. So, Jill, you're correct. We are hyper local. We're hyper community based, but we're also sort of our clients' problem solvers. Not every interaction with a client needs to generate a commission check. We would like them to, of course. But if a client comes to me and says, what do you think about this or this? Should I look at this house? And, I want my budget to be here. I've looked at people and said, do you really need to move? Like, your interest rate's 2.1. Like, wait till you have, so it's not always about the money. Diane taught me that a long time ago, that like, if you chase the check, you're usually going to fail, or the deal will fall apart. So to kind of wrap it up, we're very community-based, and we're sort of a comprehensive real estate team. So anything that somebody needs, even if it has nothing to do with real estate, Diane and I field calls all the time about things that people just, want to bounce ideas off of, or if they're starting a new business, they're looking for support or something like that. So, last but not least, our brand, like our actual team name, is also our last name, which it only took Diane 30 years to figure that out. One of our admin years ago, Diane wanted, as she was building her team, wanted to create a team of like-minded individuals that shared a philosophy, not just shared her logo or her name on their sign. So she felt that, we needed to come up with a team name so that other top producing realtors would want to be a part of the team without losing their name identity. So it just so happened that We Sell Ohio spells out Westlow. So we were able to.
Which is
amazing,
yeah.
Actually.
So,
amazing.
So it totally random, totally by accident. So, but that is our brand. So far as our license plates say it. So like when we're driving through town,
So cool.
my license plate says we, SELOH, hers says WSO team. So when we're driving through town, like that's how people connect with us. So.
That's so awesome.
Mhm.
Mary Jo, anything you would add to that about branding?
I'm
And if
changing my last name. That's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm real jealous of that.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we, again, too, it's just, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating the same thing, but again, it's like a hyper local focus. Um, I mean, originally I probably got hyper local because I had small kids. I couldn't drive far. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be driving 45 minutes to show a house. I still am not driving 45 minutes to show a house. Sell a house, maybe, but show probably not. But just honing in on, we love the community. We want to give back to the community. We love these businesses. We want to support local. We want to support small businesses. And just like honing in on that. I think people find that relatable. I think they like that. People would rather go to a restaurant that is not a chain, I think, that's owned by someone local. I'd like to think that they think the same thing about their realtor. They want to go to someone they feel as the local expert in the community, someone who they think has local relationships. I sponsor like the small basketball league. I sponsor Wobble as West Akron Basketball League. It's huge. I sponsor that. My husband's on the board of Wobble. Another thing too is I'm in a group called Christ Child. It's probably everyone's grandma, and then there's me. I didn't realize I was going to be the younger person by a good like 45 years, but I will tell you, these women love me. I'm not as active as I can be, but you better believe when they are selling, they are calling me. So, what are you that's another thing I ask people is like, what are you passionate about? Do you, are you passionate about animal rescue? Okay, then you need to be branding yourself to the local animal rescue. And, you know, how are you a part of that? What are you pouring yourself into? I also think that real estate kind of gives us an opportunity to get involved in things where maybe sometimes you're like hesitant to. I'm truly an introvert. I don't really like doing things outside my comfort zone. I'd love to stay in bed all day and like just like do nothing. That sounds like a lovely day to me. But like last year I also I hosted the Monster Mash at my kids' school, which is the mother-son dance. You better believe my name and Keller Williams' email address went home in that flyer in 300 backpacks. So sometimes maybe is there a hidden agenda? Sure, but I also love my kids, love my school. I want to volunteer. So again, what can you layer on? So I think that's, hone in on what you love and just post about it and have it be something local. So again, I think that we are local people. I did have this past year, I did have a top producer from another team joined my team. And the reason he joined my team is because he wanted to mimic this branding that we had created down here. He wanted to redo this up in Shaker and Cleveland Heights. And so we've been working with him throughout the year to do that. But, you can be the local expert. How do we make you the local expert? And lean into it. So I think pretty much the same thing without the great last name to support.
And I think you both basically said this. Another question I had was, if somebody doesn't know what their brand is or is trying to figure it out, how do you figure it out? And both of you basically said, what are you passionate about? How can you get plugged into hyperlocal? Maybe it doesn't have to mean an area. Maybe it's your church, or maybe it's your yoga studio, or maybe like going hyper locally deep in one way or the other.
And also I will say too, like another thing is once you start going hyperlocal, don't be scared to like friend that random person on Facebook. Like I just said to someone on my team, I said, you didn't friend like not all at once, but like you have a birthday party and then slowly you like start friending the kids in your class's parents or someone you met somewhere else. Like, how are you slowly kind of teetering in? So then they're like, you don't have to talk about real estate. They just know. So
without a doubt. On this, so this is pretty similar to the last slide, but why brand is important is it influences. I mean, that's kind of the topic behind this whole class today. And one of the bullet point that like shot out to me here is, are you a character in a story they want to follow and tell their friends about? And Justin, you said something earlier that I don't know, maybe it was about like being uncomfortable or not. And it's just the more we can be ourselves, the more I think people are going to relate. So how are you guys getting your social media to know who you are as a person and not just Mary Jo or Justin, the realtor?
So I mentioned when I introduced myself that not everything we do is real estate based, right? So, I don't have kids in the school. However, we have a lot of clients that, I mean, it's a small town, so we have a lot of clients that have kids, and a lot of our clients know each other that have kids. So to your point, Mary Jo, is it self-serving sometimes? Yeah, it is. But we were happy to be one of the presenting sponsors of the primary school night at the races. One, because that part of the community has given so much to us that we feel that it's important to give back. But yeah, I want to stand in a room for 4 hours and stand with 3 or 4 of my clients over a cocktail and make me a person, not just a realtor. So, part of it is being interactive in the community and being at things. Yeah, there are times that I would love to stay in bed on a Saturday, or we've had something going on 6 days in a row and it would be great to stay home on a Saturday night. But no, we get out and we go do things and we participate in activities because it's a heck of a lot cheaper than spending $4,000 a month on Zillow leads. So the other part on social media for me is, we have a dog. So I love seeing pictures of kids. I can't do that. So, and we have quite a little following for our little daughter. She's adorable and has the personality, I think, of about a 6-year-old girl. So,
I love it.
A lot of it for me is, posting about the homes that we sell, but also about our life. And we hear this all the time. Oh my God, you guys have such a fun life. They don't say you guys have a beautiful, they don't say, oh, your house is so big, or they don't say, wow, that car that you drive. It's your life is so fun, or we love how you take advantage of all the opportunities you have in life, or that you guys just get up and go on a trip. So yeah, do we post when we're out of town? Sometimes we do. Sometimes I don't want anyone to know that I'm gone. We try to stay humble. So like when we get a new car, we don't take the Starbucks cup picture in front of your steering wheel. I'm a firm believer that no one cares that you drive a Mercedes. No one cares. I don't care. No one cares. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't post something funny if there's a funny, song on the radio, or I'm not saying you have to live in the shadows, but Diane taught me a long time ago that there will be people out there that will be happy for you about those things, but there will be far more silent people that will think you make too much money. So, so staying humble, but also being super proud of who we are. I mean, everybody knows that Diane and I are, frickin' frack. We're together all the time. You see one, you see the other one. If you get her, you get me too, whether it's professionally or out socially. So it's just all about who we are as people, and we're not different people at work than we are at home. And I think that's what our brand is. Our team also is hyper local. Everybody, with the exception of we just had a great husband and wife team join our team who are local influencers in a different market. But up until then, everyone on our team had a connection to Independence or Brecksville because they were moms, or they had a full-time job and they needed the support to help support their clients if they weren't able to answer a phone during the day, or if kids have soccer practice. So our brand is also about partnership. So 3 or 4 of the agents on our team know Matt, my husband, because they're interchangeable. They know that if the showing's at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, you're probably not going to get Alexa, you're going to get Justin, but that's okay because Matt also lives in the area, and Matt and Alexa are also friends outside of work. So a lot of it for us is just partnering with people that our brand can be truly a team inside and outside the office. And we do a really good job, I think, of socializing with the people on our team. I think, we can leave the office and hang out with the people on our team and still have a good time together. And I think that's important too, that you associate yourself and surround yourself with like-minded people. Because, the worst thing that could happen is somebody says, oh my gosh, did you see that house that was listed, on Main Street, and those pictures are terrible, or I called the realtor and they didn't call me back for 3 days. Not on our team. Like, we don't want to get so big that we can't manage our standards. We don't want to get so big that we can't make sure that everyone's doing business the right way. So I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but that is our brand. Our brand is our face, our dogs, our vacations, just loving life. And I think that's what attracts people to us, because we're just, kind of happy people.
Happy people. I love that. What a good description. And Justin, I do feel like I have eyed your dog on social media, and I feel like our dog looks a little like your dog, and I think your dog's very cute.
Thank you. We think so too.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Jo, anything you wanted to add there?
I would say kind of one thing that Justin said that I think is really important is I feel like, I'm blessed to be able to do this job. I'm blessed to be able to provide things for my family. And one thing that really rubs me the wrong way with real estate agents is just kind of like the taking a picture of like the car with the watch, and or like holding an award and weeping. It's like, you're not a brain surgeon. You're lucky to serve others. Like, there's nothing, I mean, I'm sorry, but that like rubs me the wrong way, and it's so phony. So I think you just need to be yourself and authentic. Yes, I will post like, oh, we sold this many homes a year. Sometimes people will be like will ask me like, oh, someone posted. Sometimes people will say like, they're like, even people I'm good friends with, they'll be like, you really sold like that many homes? I remember the first year I sold like 5 million. My one aunt was like, you sold 5 million? I was like, yeah, that's like, you know, but so I'm gonna obviously share my value so people know like this isn't, sometimes people will say like, oh, you do this full time. I'm like, yeah, I do it full time. But so I do think you can share your value and things like that. But you know, we're not rocket scientists. We're just normal people who are lucky and blessed to be able to have this career. And I think that, you want to make sure your content doesn't rub people the wrong way. And by that I mean me. No, just kidding. But you just want to be like authentic. Like, don't be a phony baloney. Just be yourself. Like, my lawyer doesn't post and my finance person doesn't post like certain things about their life. You'd be like, that's weird. Why are they sharing that? Like, you're a professional, so post professionally and just be yourself. So sorry to go off on my tangent.
Hey,
No,
Jill,
I love
real quick, to your point, Mary Jo, we're in an environment right now where we are fighting tooth and nail for our commissions. We
Very
are
true.
we are being asked to reduce our fee. We're in an environment where buyers agents may need to totally reconsider the way they do business. And we make good money and we deserve it. I'm not making an excuse for it. I do not apologize for what I make because I work very hard. However, don't give people the opportunity to look at you and say, no, I'm not giving you 6% because I'm not paying for your next BMW.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't hide it when it's in the driveway. I'm not saying we shouldn't have nice things. But there's a difference between showing up in a nice car and giving your listing presentation and telling them that you've sold 25 million and they go, okay, well, the car matches the production. That's good.
Correct.
Then them opening their social media in the morning and you just got a mani-pedi and you're holding a Starbucks cup in front of your Mercedes and now you're off to play tennis. No one cares. Truly, no one cares. Truly.
Yeah. Yeah. No one cares about your car purchase. I think that's like a perfect example. Just be humble. People are happy for you and they like to see you working hard. But just be humble. It comes off so much better.
It absolutely does. So for the sake of time, I literally could talk to the two of you all day. So some of these content expectations, if anybody wants the slides after, email me, I will send them out. We've kind of went through some of these in pillars of content. What I want to talk about before we wrap up is even just like these rules of social media. I think these are super important just to leave people with because we want you guys, if you can nail it on social media, you will nail it in this industry. A few rules they have: building your social profile is the most important thing you can do. I like so this is in regards to video, but using one of 6 trigger words. And those 6 words are you, feel, because, instant, new, and offer. Something else I thought was interesting here is don't overuse emojis. I feel like 3 years ago, they were saying use emojis because your brain processes images faster than it does words. Now I think we can also, I mean, use them, be yourself, but also don't overuse them. We're professionals as well. And facts tell, but stories sell. That is, I feel like it's what both Mary Jo and Justin have said this whole time. It is being yourself, being authentic, tell a story. It's not me, me, me. And then touching on the different platforms here. So Mary Jo, you said something about Facebook, like who is on Facebook and who is on Instagram. That was interesting to me. Would you tell me, like, dive into that a little bit? Like, what are you using Facebook for? What are you using Instagram for? And like,
Yeah.
should you share it to both? What are
So
those?
one thing I probably should have mentioned is my Instagram that I post for real estate on is my team's name, which is Welcome Home Team Ohio. And so that is like business, but again, still very local, hyper local. And then my personal Facebook page is where I'm friending people. And honestly, if I didn't have to be on social media, I'd prefer not to be, but I know it's good. It's a good place to be. So I do find different age ranges. So I know that if I meet someone and they're a millennial, I'm going to get on Instagram. I'm going to find them and follow them. I do know if I meet someone and they're a boomer, I'm getting on Facebook. Um, uh, the I don't think millennials care as much about like saying like, oh, your dog is so cute, your kids are so cute. But I feel like the boomer loves a good kid pic. Like I posted my son in that outfit yesterday. It was
So cute.
it was decade day at school, and he chose the 80s. He chose the 1780s. He told me he wanted to be like George Washington. So we like came up with this costume. But like that got a ton of interaction, and that's what I want. I want people to see me, see that, and then I want them to see like I'm posting, like I'll share my pie event, which everyone does, but I'll share that on that page too. So then it's like it's getting sandwiched in there, and I know that that's what those people prefer. And then I know that I have found more interaction and traction on Instagram for again, I would say like maybe like 45 and under. Um, so it just like you want to be, you know, having a little bit of both. I just have a referral for a listing this week, and she was like, "Oh, you know my friend Renee." I showed Renee a random house, and I knew her through a few social things, and I friended her on Facebook. Renee is probably, I think she's like 61, but now Renee follows me, likes all my things, and so I'm on top of Renee's mind. And you know, Renee is not on Instagram, but she's on Facebook. I know that might sound creepy that I'm like overthinking these friendships with people, but I'm telling you, like, it makes a difference where you're finding people and where they're finding you.
Without a doubt. I'd
Yeah.
absolutely agree. Justin, what about you? Like, is there a platform you post most on? Any rules for this?
So I'm that weird generation. I'm not a boomer and I'm not a millennial.
Oh,
I'm the almost 40, very close to 40. So Instagram wasn't a thing. Like I Facebook came out, like when I was on Facebook, you had to go to a certain college to be part of Facebook. So I started Facebook that way when you were part of the network where you went to
yes.
college or university you went to. So I was also a MySpace person, but that's here nor there. So I still would like
What
to
was your
my
top five?
password to MySpace because the page is still out there and it weirds me out that like my picture is like almost 20 years old.
What
So
song do you have playing in the background? That's the question, Justin, right?
God, it's getting hot in here or something. I don't know. Anyways, so you know, I lean into Facebook a lot more than Instagram because I know it and I understand it, and I'm a bad at a technology adapter because I should get to know Instagram more. Although the American Dream platform has forced me to get to know it, whether I wanted to or not. I still don't entirely know how to use all pieces of it, but what I did figure out how to do was to link my Facebook and my Instagram so that when I do a story on Facebook, at least it's also posting to Instagram, and I can, and that actually, I'm sure Mary Jo, you know this, Facebook will tell you where people are seeing your story. So it'll tell you like, oh, these are the people that are seeing it on Instagram. These are the people that are seeing it on Facebook. And to your point, yeah, it's everybody in their 20s and 30s that I'm selling houses to that are watching me on Instagram. So we sell houses to first-time home buyers all the time. I think Diane and I, we tend, our bread and butter is probably the 40 to 60-year-old crowd, if you will. We certainly will work with first-time home buyers, absolutely. But I do see that when I look at the complexity or the complexion of my sphere, my client list, most of them are probably more Facebook driven. However, there's a whole new generation out there. I need to get better about Instagram. There's somebody that just joined our team, Jennifer Lombardo. She has TikTok down to a science, and I'm so envious of her because she literally carves out a couple hours once a week. She makes her content for the week, but it looks like she's on TikTok every day for 6 hours. Like she posts, it's not overwhelming. It's not like, oh my gosh, stop posting, but she has been able to carve out time once a week, do all of her content, but then stagger it throughout the week. And I think that's really important too, is kind of being smart, like working smarter, not harder, because you can really spend hours and hours and hours trying to come up with content or trying to come up with the perfect, JPEG to post and I think a lot of it is just what comes to your mind. Again, what's natural, what's easy, what is relatable to you. So for me, it is Facebook because I like words. So I'm more of a reader. So that's why I like Facebook, and Instagram is really frustrating for me because I see all these pictures, but like, I have to remember, I have to look real small at the bottom to like actually see what the picture is. So, but again, I'm almost 40. So that Instagram is not directed at me. But yeah, so that's what we do. We are definitely more Facebook driven. We have a team page, like Mary Jo said, she has one. We don't use it, and for better or for worse. I connect with so many people on my personal page about business, even through stories. I mean, one of you mentioned it, adding people that you don't really know on social media. It's so much easier to have a conversation with somebody that like from the periphery through a story. Like, okay, people that I went to high school with this guy, he got married. I haven't seen him in 20 years, but they were at a restaurant in Aruba that we were at earlier this year. And she posted like the same video that I posted. And I was like, oh my God, have so much fun. It's a great restaurant. And we have been going back and forth every day. Well, that's a reconnection to somebody that was in my sphere 20 years ago that I had no reason to connect with. They don't live in Independence or Brexville anymore. They've got kids in a school that I have no connection to. So I think, Mary Jo, to your point, it's also a way to start making soft connections with people without having to like door knock and go, hi, do you remember me?
100%.
I'm your local realtor.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, that is great advice. And something one of you said, I'll wrap it up. I've got like 2 thoughts. Back to even that triangle in the beginning. Don't entertain the realtor, like entertain, like who are you targeting? We're not trying to make other realtors laugh. We are trying to connect with our clients. And I think that is a mistake a lot of realtors make. So keep that in mind. And then the last thing, like we just have to throw this out there. Look at that stat under YouTube. Ad companies pay more to advertise on Mr. Beast's YouTube channel than the Super Bowl. That is absolutely.
Who is Mr. Beast?
I had to ask my kids.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll ask my kids.
Like I don't know. He's like the biggest YouTube star. So you don't have to get to YouTube, but I will tell you guys, if there's early adopters, there's mid adopters, there's late adopters, and you want to be in real estate. I know YouTube's been around forever, but you can still be an early adopter if you are sharing your videos to YouTube. You don't even have to recreate the wheel. Things you're already doing on another platform, share it to a YouTube channel, and it will grow, but be an early adopter. Get on that. So
isn't it Ken Pozek? He's a KW agent. And he like is really big on YouTube. If any, I would aspire to be like him. No way, you know what I mean? Like he's goals, but like he's someone. If anyone's looking to YouTube, he's awesome.
I agree. It's
awesome.
Pozek.
Yeah, and like a local expert, obviously for Orlando.
Yes, awesome. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? I haven't got to look at the chat box. Oh, Danielle, ask your kids. Yes, I feel like My boys love Mr. Beast. Well, I will thank you guys so very much for being on here. This was super, super valuable. I hope you all took something. If you don't follow Justin and Mary Jo on social media, I hope you do because they're both amazing. And everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jill.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.